Tom Brady at the Combine. That looked like the GOAT. They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a $103 million contract. That was a lot of money back then. And then a year in, they're like, we're going to go with Brady. They didn't fight it. And Drew Bledsoe was still very, very good. So, there's obviously a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular.
The WNBA All-Star voting results have exposed fundamental tensions within the league regarding recognition and respect for emerging talent. Caitlin Clark's 9th-place finish in player voting, ranking behind even her own teammate, demonstrates unprecedented resistance to acknowledging transformative performance levels. This situation reveals striking contradictions within league dynamics. For years, WNBA athletes criticized external factors for limiting their sport's growth, citing inadequate promotion, media coverage, and general underappreciation. However, when presented with a catalyst that delivers the exact outcomes they sought, internal resistance has emerged based on unexpected packaging.
And what happened last night's a byproduct of that. This is what happened to MJ. She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season, and her game embarrasses you. So like men's basketball, J.C. Sheldon had the task of stopping the latest superstar in her basketball league. And this thing was chatty in the second quarter. It was chatty. They've got history. It was trash talking. And then in the third quarter, Sheldon poked her in the eye.
The phenomenon reflects broader patterns in competitive environments where success arrives in unanticipated forms. Historical examples across various industries demonstrate that breakthrough moments rarely match preconceived expectations. Organizations that embrace unexpected catalysts typically achieve greater success than those who resist change due to image preferences. Professional sports particularly illustrate this principle through numerous examples of overlooked talent becoming transformative figures. Teams that recognized potential in unconventional packages gained competitive advantages, while those fixated on predetermined profiles missed opportunities for advancement.
They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold-out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success looks like. I mean, every company in the country would love to go viral every day for free marketing. If they knew how to do it, they'd all be viral every day. Like, you just don't know. Is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of
Clark's impact transcends individual statistics, fundamentally altering league attendance, viewership, and commercial viability. Her presence has generated the private travel accommodations, increased popularity, improved collective bargaining positions, and sold-out venues that players previously demanded. Despite achieving these collective goals, internal acceptance remains limited. The voting results provide concrete evidence of peer sentiment that contradicts public statements about league unity and mutual support. When presented with confidential opportunities to recognize exceptional performance, players demonstrated preferences that prioritize factors beyond athletic achievement and statistical dominance.
And then in the third quarter, Sheldon poked her in the eye. Again, this is something we see all the time. They were on each other. They were talking. It was trashy. The superstar like MJ, unstoppable, poke her in the eye, and that's a flagrant foul, and it should have been a flagrant foul. And then Marina Mabrey, this is inappropriate, came over, knocked her over. Many thought she should have been thrown out of the game. Well, she didn't get a technical. It's a little bad boys Pistons with MJ. For the record, Caitlin Clark got up.
This resistance pattern mirrors historical responses to disruptive talents in various competitive fields. Established participants often struggle to accept individuals who achieve rapid success through unconventional methods or backgrounds, regardless of their positive impact on collective outcomes. Clark's record-breaking performance levels include statistical achievements that surpass benchmarks established by veteran players over extended careers. Her pace of accomplishment compresses typical development timelines, reaching milestones in dozens of games that required hundreds of contests for previous record holders.
Motion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. don't fight it. The wave, the meteor doesn't necessarily look like you think it's going to look. Right? There was a time that somebody thought it was at
The astronomical shooting range, exceptional court vision, and overall offensive impact create defensive challenges that force opponents into increasingly desperate strategies. These abilities generate highlight moments against quality competition while maintaining consistency across diverse matchup scenarios. Beyond raw statistics, the contextual factors surrounding Clark's achievements amplify their significance. She faces intense defensive attention, specialized game plans, and physical targeting that other players rarely experience. Despite this concentrated opposition, her production levels continue exceeding historical standards. The commercial impact extends throughout the organization and league infrastructure. Merchandise sales, television ratings, and arena attendance figures demonstrate unprecedented growth directly attributable to her presence. This economic transformation benefits all stakeholders through increased revenue streams and enhanced visibility.
The record, Caitlin Clark got up. She wasn't hurt. She did more trash talking. She hit more threes. She remained remarkable, just like all the great. If you respect women, stop pandering. She's tough. She's feisty. She likes to taunt and talk. And nobody quite knows what the hell to do. I mean, when Candace Parker, 10 years ago, Candace Parker led this sport, WNBA, in assists with 6 a game. Caitlin Clark's not only the best guard, the best
The comparison to transformative athletes in other contexts illustrates patterns of initial resistance followed by eventual acceptance. Elite competitors often face isolation during peak performance periods as peers struggle to acknowledge superior abilities that threaten established hierarchies. Kobe Bryant's career exemplifies this dynamic, where exceptional performance levels created distance between him and contemporary players. Documentary evidence reveals widespread fear and respect among peers who maintain professional distance despite recognizing his singular abilities. Similar isolation patterns emerge when athletes reach performance levels that separate them from their competition pool. The combination of relentless work ethic, competitive intensity, and superior results often creates social barriers within professional communities.
It was it the Google or the Apple glasses? I was told that was the future. I remember being in TV, and I was told local news would be 3D. I can remember working at the other place. We had an event that was an Ohio State football game. We all took 3D glasses. This is the future of television. At that time, nobody knew what streaming was. There was no Netflix. So you just don't know what the wave looks like. When it arrives, don't fight it. Just ride it.
For Clark, this voting outcome provides valuable perspective on peer relationships and realistic expectations for internal recognition. Understanding that exceptional performance may not generate corresponding peer appreciation allows for adjusted social strategies within league dynamic. The experience reinforces the importance of focusing on individual excellence rather than seeking validation from direct competitors. Athletes who derive motivation from external recognition often find themselves disappointed when peers prioritize personal interests over objective evaluation.
Shooter, hitting 33-footers. They're flashy and kind of embarrass you. She's averaging 9 assists a game. She's changed the entire tempo of the sport. Forget the merchandise. That's another segment. So they don't know what to do. Hack-a-Shack. Mike Dunleavy, coaching the Blazers. We can't stop him. And we have Arvydas Sabonis. Steph Curry's first couple years in the league. Thank God for Draymond Green. And by the way, this league, they knew what they were getting into, right? And I'll get to this in a
This situation demonstrates the necessity of building supportive networks outside immediate competitive circles. Family, coaching staff, and genuine allies provide more reliable recognition sources than individuals whose success depends on comparative achievements. The voting results also highlight the importance of maintaining competitive edge rather than attempting to soften relationships through appeasement strategies. Efforts to gain peer acceptance through deferential behavior rarely succeed when fundamental talent disparities exist.
Know what the wave looks like. When it arrives, don't fight it. Just ride it.
It's so breathtaking. And this is what the fans and the media, and they try to do. They try to gaslight you. They say, there's no bias, there's no this, there's no that. And then we get literal proof. I mean, Caitlin Clark's out there breaking records, is on one of the most insane historic paces is absolutely dominating, is having mind-blowing moments against great teams, bad teams, anyone in between. And the peers, her...
Clark's youth and relative inexperience within the league create additional complexity as she navigates these interpersonal dynamics. Learning to balance competitive intensity with professional relationships requires time and accumulated experience across various scenarios. The broader implications extend beyond individual circumstances to reflect league culture and priorities. The disconnect between public messaging about supporting excellence and private voting patterns reveals underlying tensions about recognition criteria and values.
And I'll get to this in a second, but they brought Sophie Cunningham over in a trade for a reason. She's the youngest black belt in the state of Missouri's history, 6 years old. They brought her over to protect Caitlin Clark because they saw this puppy coming. The league doesn't quite know what to do, but the Fever did. And so, again, you got to put a body on her. You got to get physical. If you go look at the history of basketball, high school, college, WNBA, NBA, if there's an offensive player and they're humiliating you.
Media coverage of these dynamics often attempts to minimize obvious patterns through alternative explanations that avoid acknowledging uncomfortable truths about competitive jealousy and resentment. However, the voting evidence provides clear documentation of peer sentiment that contradicts sanitized narratives. Fan reactions to these developments typically demonstrate better understanding of competitive realities than media commentators who emphasize diplomatic interpretations. Audiences recognize obvious disparities between performance levels and recognition outcomes without requiring complex explanations.
And the peers, her peers, vote her 9th. It's breathtaking. It's stunning. It's all the evidence you need. And this is why I pled with Caitlin Clark and I said, do not try to be their friends. Do not try to win them over. There was a little bit of that rookie year. Trying to be like, all right, I gotta pay my dues. I gotta respect these women that came before me. No, you don't. No, you do not.
The situation creates opportunities for Clark to solidify her competitive identity and approach to peer relationships. Understanding that exceptional performance may generate resentment rather than admiration allows for strategic adjustments in expectations and interactions. Long-term success in this environment requires maintaining focus on controllable factors while accepting that peer recognition may lag behind objective achievements. Historical examples demonstrate that sustained excellence eventually forces acknowledgement regardless of initial resistance. The commercial success Clark generates provides leverage that transcends peer voting outcomes. Economic impact creates organizational priorities that supersede internal politics, ensuring continued opportunities regardless of popularity among competitors.
WNBA, NBA, if there's an offensive player and they're humiliating you, Steph, Shaq, MJ, Caitlin, what do? You can't trap her. She'll dribble through it. You got to put a body on her. You got to double team her. You try to get in her head with trash talking. It's not working at all. It's the ultimate compliment, in my opinion. But take a deep breath. Caitlin bounced up. The eye couldn't have been gouged that violently because she could see just fine, draining jumpers after. Do I think?
This dynamic reinforces the importance of performance-based validation rather than seeking approval from individuals whose interests conflict with objective evaluation. Maintaining competitive intensity while building authentic relationships with genuinely supportive individuals provides the optimal balance. The voting controversy ultimately serves as educational experience that clarifies league dynamics and relationship realities. Understanding these patterns early in her career allows Clark to adjust expectations and strategies accordingly, while maintaining focus on continued improvement. The phenomenon demonstrates that transformative impact often generates resistance proportional to the change being created. Revolutionary talents throughout sports history have faced similar challenges from established participants who feel threatened by rapidly shifting competitive landscape.
No, you don't. No, you do not. So I kept saying, I said, be Kobe. Be Kobe. Watch that documentary. See what they all said about Kobe during that documentary years ago that came out for like the redemption team when they were going for gold. And you see LeBron, you see Dwayne Wade, all of them. They're all like, they just feared Kobe. And they would say like Kobe didn't really have any friends around the NBA. Like everyone respected him. He was revered, but like he wasn't friends with anyone. He just wasn't.
For observers, this situation provides clear evidence of underlying tensions that official narratives attempt to obscure. The gap between public statements about supporting excellence and private voting behavior reveals authentic sentiment among league participants. The controversy also highlights the importance of individual achievement over collective approval in competitive environments. Athletes who prioritize peer acceptance over personal excellence rarely achieve their maximum potential due to compromised competitive intensity.
That violently because she could see just fine, draining jumpers after. Do I think it crossed a line? Yeah, that's why we had a flagrant foul and a technical. And do I think the officials are trying to figure out how quite to officiate her? Yes, I was at the Blazers-Lakers series in Los Angeles. I know where I was sitting behind the basket when Kobe hit Shaq for the slam dunk. And I looked over at Bob Whitsitt, at the time the GM of the Blazers, and thought, we had Arvydas Sabonis with the Blazers. We couldn't stop him. They didn't know how to officiate him. This is what happens when
Clark's response to this situation will likely influence her long-term career trajectory and relationship with the league community. Learning to thrive despite peer resistance while maintaining professional standards creates foundation for sustained success. The broader implications suggest that emerging talents should expect similar challenges when disrupting established hierarchies. Preparing mentally for resistance and focusing on controllable performance factors provides the best strategy for navigating these dynamics successfully.
He just wasn't. Wasn't until he retired and it was all said and done that, relationships warmed up a bit. But like they were afraid of him. And that's the effect. Like, I'm happy this happened. Because it's like Caitlin Clark still needs reminders because she's young. This is her second year in the WNBA, and she's still trying to find her way. She is someone who's still young and is still trying to figure out her place in this world, let alone in the WNBA. I mean, we all are. I mean, you never really stop trying.
The WNBA All-Star voting results have revealed troubling dynamics within professional women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's 9th place finish in player voting, ranking behind even her own teammate, demonstrates concerning patterns that extend beyond competitive assessment. For years, WNBA athletes voiced frustrations about inadequate promotion, media bias, and insufficient recognition. These complaints focused on external factors preventing league growth and player appreciation. However, when unprecedented success finally arrived through Clark's emergence, internal resistance has become apparent.
What happens when a superstar emerges? And here is the coach of the Fever after.
This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right, out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. They got to get control of it. They got to be better.
The phenomenon mirrors other sports situations where transformative players don't match preconceived expectations. Historical examples include Puka Nakua's 5th-round selection by the Rams, who quickly recognized his superior abilities over established receivers like Cooper Kupp rather than resisting the discovery. Similarly, Tom Brady's emergence occurred despite New England's substantial investment in Drew Bledsoe, yet the organization adapted rather than fighting obvious talents. Success rarely appears in expected forms. Companies worldwide would embrace viral marketing opportunities if they could predict them, but transformative moments often arrive unexpectedly, whether through authentic connections, emotional resonance, or timing coincidence. Breakthrough success defies conventional wisdom.